Today we are going to talk about the 5 steps of design. Now, these steps are to be followed by any designer or member of a production team for any play or musical that you might have coming up within your company, within your classroom, within your school, whatever the situation may be. Without further ado, let's learn about each 5 steps of design and why they need to be followed in this specific order. Step 1. Read for pleasure. Now, this means reading through the script the first time through just for fun. This will help you get a sense of the characters. It will help you get a sense of the theme and the plot of the production. It will help you envision what you see happening in each scene and how you envision each character, how you envision the mood of each piece, and just get a general feel for the production itself. Step 2, read for content. Now, what I mean by that is you are going to read the script a second time, or a third, or a fourth, or however many times it takes. Read it as often as you need to for finding information about your specific content area as a designer or a member of the production team, such as you might highlight things that could be potential light cues if you are a lighting designer. You might highlight places where sound cues or sound is needing to take place if you're into sound design. Where are the scene changes? What about props, okay? Noticing what are the actors and the characters handling in that scene, what needs to be present as props in that scene. Costume information, there might be a moment where it says character A takes a letter and stealthily puts it into their jacket pocket. So now that's a prop item and that's a costume item. And we know that character A needs to have a letter, they need to have a jacket, and that jacket needs to make sure it has a pocket on the inside to put said letter. So read for content and do that as often as you need to and highlight those moments because it's going to come in handy for the next step of design, which is step 3, make list. Now that you've done the grunt work and you've read the play for content and you've highlighted those areas that are pertinent to your specific area of technical theater, you can take that information and start gathering it into an organized list. This might look like an itemized garment list for my costume people. This could be a scene breakdown by scene, location, act, whatever. This could be a list of sound cues and what pages those sound cues are found on. Same with light cues. Props list, when should they take place? What are Act 1 props? What are Act 2 props if you have a 2-act show? When are those props needed? Are there any details that you need to mention about these technical theater aspects, such as the jacket I mentioned before, needing to have a pocket on the inside to stuff the note? And then props might make a list and put the note on their prop list, and they need to make a note that it needs to be a size that is going to fit within a pocket of a jacket. And they need to make a note to communicate with the costume team to make sure that happens. So after you make your list, which is step 3, you're going to move on to step 4, which is research. You need to use reputable sources. Wikipedia is not going to cut it for you. Sometimes if you Google things, you can get some fantastic information, but you got to check your research and make sure it's reputable. For example, if I am researching undergarments of women in the 1920s, I can put that on Google Images, but what might pop up might be something from the Renaissance era. And what you have to do is you have to dig deep and you have to click on that image and make sure to read further and make sure it ties into your appropriate time period. For example, you also need to research color palettes and make sure that they fit within the artistic director's vision and the vision that you might have for a character or for a scene or for a prop or design or light. Make sure you have that conversation with your artistic director and your design team, hopefully at a production meeting. Research is going to look like pictures, so you can put them on a research board or a research presentation to show them at the next production meeting. Research is also going to be literature. For example, I was a costume designer for a show called Nonsense. I did not grow up Catholic. I had no idea what all went into a nun's habit. And so I had to do a lot of research on nun habits, why things had to go in certain layers, why things had to go in certain orders, and what each piece of costume represented in the Catholic faith for the nuns. So I presented that literature in a bullet point beautiful format at a production meeting. So it may not always be pictures. It should be probably a combination of pictures and literature. Make sure your research is reputable. Make sure you are checking within the appropriate time period, and make sure it suits the artistic vision from the artistic director. And the last step of the 5 steps of design is step 5, which is design. This could be using different design programs on the computer such as Sketchpad, SketchUp, AutoCAD. You could use old school sketch paper, pencils to create your thumbnails, for example. Whatever system you use, your school, your program, your company, they're going to have a system and they're going to teach you how to use it, hopefully. There are a ton of systems out there digitally that will help you design whatever you're going to design. And of course, you will present your designs at the next production meeting and several production meetings here on out as you revise them. So let's recap. Step 1, read for pleasure. Step 2, read for content. Step 3, make list. Step 4, research. And step 5, design. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something new.